World Development System. Chapter 241. A lady bought the next item, which was covered by a cloth. The presenter immediately introduced the next item after the lady bought the second item. He spoke, "I am sure all of you were surprised. We will be presenting you guys our next item, the Thunder Ore of Supreme Quality, a total of 31 kgs. I am sure no one here is unfamiliar with it. If you are unaware, this ore is useful in creating accessories and weapons with the lightning element. The items made from it are more powerful than normal accessories." Annan was surprised as he looked at the Thunder Ore with shock. Whoa, the Thunder Ore? And that too of supreme quality with 31 kgs. What are they planning? Aren't they using it for themselves? I am sure Tornwall can certainly work on this ore. We are buying it whatever the cost. We are anyway short of such rare ores in Brindil. You understand, right? The subordinate nodded and spoke, "Yes, my lord. We will be bidding aggressively for this ore." John smiled as he looked at the expressions of others when they saw the longevity pill and the Thunder Ore. He asked Taylor, "Where did you guys get this ore?" Taylor smiled and spoke, "It was mined at one of the mines which we discovered at Aurora. There are quite a number of such mines and ores. We can use it to our advantage. It seems this venture of ours has bought us a lot of gains when it comes to resources." John smiled as he looked at the ore. "I guess this auction won't be boring if these rare items are coming left and right. Maybe we can even achieve our goals with this auction." Annan roared as he greedily saw the Thunder Ore, 5,000 gold coins. Very soon the bid reached 5,000 gold coins and was won by Annan, who was smiling ear to ear after taking the Thunder Ore. One of the merchants asked as he looked at the Thunder Ore and tried to gauge its commercial value, "Is it really worth it to bid 5,000 gold coins for a mere ore?" The other merchant smiled and spoke, "Well, those ores are rare and hence the inflated prices. Many countries use these ores for research and hence they are rarely found in the market. Additionally, the weapons created using these elemental ores have a very high power whether it is in attack or defense. So you understand why the inflated prices." The other guy nodded and understood. A few hours passed as a lot of items were sold, which included armors and weapons forged by the smithy, and the auction was coming to the conclusion. The presenter smiled and spoke, "Now, we present to you the formula for fighting that menace called Black Death. This formula works in 3 to 4 days. I am sure all of you heard about Lord John's lecture on Black Death previously. We have also mentioned how to detect this disease early after multiple experiments." There was a shocked look in the face of some spies who were from Radiant Church. Damnit, how were they able to make such medicine and pull it off? The higher UPS in the church would certainly be pissed when they hear this. We can't cause a ruckus here since there are a lot of guards, not to mention ghosts, who are constantly keeping a watch on the movements of everyone. Try buying that formula via one of the merchants." Without even waiting for the presenter to speak, the demonic side spoke immediately, 10,000 gold coins. 11,000. 14,000. 20,000. Said one of the merchants. However, the demon side watched at the merchant angrily. Humph, he dares fight against the power of a state. Very well. He thought, if he still wins the formula, we might as well try to rob him when leaves for Ilias. 25,000 gold coins. There were gasps when the people heard the price going as up. American Samoa, 25000 gold coins. Isn't this just a mere formula? Why are they trying so hard to get it? Well, in the past, they too suffered a lot while going against Black Death, and hence their reason. 25,000 gold coins are just small drops of water. However, I wonder who is that merchant who can bid so much. I guess he might be trying to get the formula for commercial purposes. I heard he is one of the biggest distributors of raw materials when it comes to weapon on Ilias and here at Sky." Allison smiled and spoke, "I guess they do have deep pockets. Pity that we are so far, or else we too would have got a chance to buy this formula." Mist spoke as he looked, "We don't need to worry, to be honest. We can always trade with them, you should know that we still have nature magicians. Let the demons have it this time around. Very soon the third hammer hit and the demons won the formula for Black Death. After getting the formula he murmured, I guess this visit at the auction here was still worth it. No wonder Lord John emphasized the importance of this auction. Yes, His Majesty too will be pleased from such a result. The presenter smiled as he watched the result of fierce bidding. He spoke, and at last, we will present you the latest creation of our magic research laboratory at Rose Institute. The mana-restoring pills. Unlike the other pills in the market, you won't have to wait while taking these pills. These pills also restore around 30% of one's mana in an instant. For people with very high magic power, they will require 2 pills to restore it. But I am sure every one of you understands the pros of such a pill where you won't have to wait while taking pills in succession. You will practically be having unlimited mana as long as you have mana restoring pills. From now on, we will be auctioning a batch of these pills every day while the best students at Rose Institute too will get these pills as rewards. One of the magicians exclaimed as soon as he watched the description of these pills, "What? You won't have to wait and this pill instantly restores mana in your body. How is this possible? Hell, these pills also restore 30% of your mana instantly. I am definitely getting my hands on these pills." Similar voices could be heard from everywhere when people heard about mana-restoring pills. The demonic side smiled and with a thoughtful expression spoke, "I see. So they are telling the other countries that they can have a dip in this honey pot as long as they fill some of the wishes from sky. From the looks, they planned for this rebellion for a long time. We will play along. We anyway don't mind angering Elias if we can get such things. We will be buying the first batch of these pills for research purposes." Annan had a deep and thoughtful look when he looked at the description of these pills. He immediately spoke to his assistant in a grave tone, "We are calling off our raid at those unknown cities. Tell Nakud that he is to immediately back off. This is some serious stuff. A mana restoring pill which doesn't require one to wait while restoring mana in their body. This very mana pill will change the landscape of sea travels and also wars. Magicians and magic knights will become a big resource for countries when it comes to longer travels at sea. Even those magicians with low capabilities will become a big resource in the production department of the countries. It seems there are going to be big deals at this auction." The 2 devils who came previously too had dark expressions when they heard the description of this pill. The devil who came earlier had an expression where he couldn't wait to get his hands on those pills. "Do we reveal our presence?" The other devils shook the head and spoke, "No need. We will meet that guy after the auction. This auction certainly has surprised me today to no ends. I guess this auction certainly meets the standards of Lemuria Republic." Luke too had a dark expression when he looked at the pills and then their descriptions. "This is big. Mana restoring pills without any backlash? We would have long ago conquered this continent if we had these pills. We made a big blunder by opposing Count John this time around after getting influenced by those warmongers. Fudge. All because of Hector and his cunning schemes for a personal grudge. Those ministers were right when they berated Hector previously for conflicting personal grudges and the interests of Elias." Chapter 242. Luke looked at his assistant who too had a dark expression when he looked at the pills. Luke spoke to him, "We are getting our hands on these pills at any cost. We might not even have a chance in the future if the war erupts on a bigger scale." He sighed and thought, if Count John has enough magicians, then with these pills we are losing this war for sure. Even if we have 10 times when it comes to magicians, but we will lose in the long term in a battle of attrition. Not to mention those cannons that they have. Our only chance is the Dragon Knights, but these crafty guys, demons and dwarves, will spare no thought on supporting Sky and getting their hands on these magic pills. No, even the Dragon Knights won't be enough if they have magicians which can take down Dragon Knights with the unlimited magic power of these pills. Ellison had decided, "I will be bidding with 7,000 gold coins immediately." One of the magicians too had an expression where he couldn't wait to get his hands on these pills. "I am getting my hands on this first batch of pills." I can't wait until tomorrow. The presenter smiled and spoke, I guess every one of you had enough discussions. The bids will start from 500 gold coins. There are a total of 20 pills in this batch. The demons spoke, gauging the situation, 1,000 gold coins. Luke's subordinate, Ellison, immediately spoke with a roar, 7,000 gold coins. There was a big hubbub among people when they heard the price. One of the commoners spoke, what? 350 gold coins for one single pill? Are these guys crazy? One of the old men spoke as he thoughtfully saw the pill, well, you don't understand the strategic importance of this pill. These pills will be very big when it comes to war or to escort people with importance. When it comes to life, people are always willing to spend a ridiculous amount of money. All of those royals will be trying to snatch up these pills whatever the cost. Without speaking any more, the other guy understood. Allison smiled as he saw that Luke's assistant bid. He spoke and asked Mist, what do you say? Should we consider the face of Elias? Mist had a teasing expression when he looked at Luke and understood his dilemma. No need, those arrogant pricks need to be taught a lesson anyway. After the revelation of these pills, I am sure there will be a big commotion at their court where the ministers will be at each other's throats while the king too will be under pressure if he can't explain the reason for this war. He will be walking under eggshells. Many guys will be speaking John's tone that he was forced to rebel and that they must expose this conspiracy. These pills are anyway more useful to us nature magicians. We won't be feeling any pain or the need to wait for a month after one performance. These pills can help us raise more nature magicians quickly. Not to mention, we can focus more on raising those rare ingredients which take multiple years to develop by normal means. Allison too nodded and spoke, yes, these pills seem more productive to us nature magicians. Lord John has surely shocked us to no end today. Mist spoke sternly as he released his aura and the people below could feel his authority, 10,000 gold coins. One of the demons spoke as he looked at Mist with astonishment, it seems, the elves too are interested in these pills. Meanwhile, who is that scary guy? The demon ambassador smiled and spoke, well, these pills are too valuable just from their traits, so it is no wonder that they too are interested. I am sure His Majesty too will be shocked after hearing about these pills. We will anyway wait for a day to get our hands on these pills. It is good that we didn't make a move against Duke Friedrich or Lord John. As for that guy, he is Mist, the grand strategist of Aurora Kingdom. Though that guy looks feeble, but never try to offend him. Even many of our generals fear his nature magic. We have lost a lot of top assassins under his hands. We don't even try to assassinate him nowadays. Emina too was astonished as she looked at Mist, who was serious for the first time after arriving at the Sky Kingdom. Meanwhile, Binz looked at John curiously as he thought, why does that guy seem familiar to me? Anand too thoughtfully looked at Mist and didn't raise his bid. He murmured, well, I can try buying these pills the next day instead of offending that scary guy. Who knows if he decides to interfere in this war and ruin all of the plans, which will leave no space for other countries. It's not like there is only one batch of these pills. Luke too was pale after watching Mist himself making a move. He thought, we are anyway out of money. Very soon the hammer rang and the presenter shouted, these batch of mana restoring pills goes to Lord Mist, the grand strategist of Aurora Kingdom. I am sure every one of you enjoyed this auction. From now on, this auction will be open every day. And every month on 4th we will sell special items like we did today. Now, Lord John will take the podium and make a declaration to conclude this auction. There was astonishment in the faces of a lot of people when they heard about this declaration from the presenter. John smiled as the auction concluded. He headed to the platform with Taylor and spoke on a sound stone. Today we will be officially announcing the existence of Winter City and Aurora City, which we discovered previously. It will be part of the Sky Kingdom. We have also tamed some land in the northern wildlands which will be part of our kingdom. Winter City and Aurora will be open to the common public from now on. As far as Dolores and other parts of Baron Mendez's domain is concerned, we have decided to hand them back to Baron Mendez, who was previously in a cell. He was imprisoned by his son Antonio and had usurped his father on the orders of Prince Hector so that they can head towards Sky and invade us. It was also due to Prince Hector that our trade stopped after the closure of the eastern port. We were basically forced to rebel by Prince Hector, and hence we decided to look for other ventures, where we created Winter City and Aurora City, so the Winter City port and Aurora port will be open from now on for trade. However, the rules must be strictly followed when it comes to these cities. The handover of the domain will be done in parts where Baron slowly replenishes his forces. We have also formed a non-aggression contract for the next 20 years. I am sure this will relay your concerns. However, there is one problem. We have currently found traces of Black Death being spread at Dolores and the surrounding places. So we will be transporting a lot of medical supplies for the places occupied by us, but there is no need to worry. The cure is being produced in large quantities by our pharmacists. As for the guys who are infected by Black Death and are outside of Dolores, they can visit us anytime at Sky to cure their illnesses. If any one of you has any concerns, then they can contact Internal Minister, Mr. Taylor. John and Taylor immediately left after the speech for the administrative headquarters. Immediately there was hubbub when people heard this announcement. Annan sighed as he heard the announcement. He spoke in a grave tone to his subordinate. I guess they weren't joking when they planned this event. Anyway, try getting an appointment with Lord John and Lord Taylor. We need to discuss these thunder ores and mana restoring pills. Well, it is still good that they have decided to open the borders of Winter City and Aurora City. Yes, sir. Everyone got into action and started relaying messages to their superiors. One of the lords spoke as he headed to relay the messages. This auction was certainly big. I wonder what changes would those mana restoring pills bring to this continent. Another guy spoke. I don't expect good changes for now. Those mana restoring pills are practically huge sources of energy for magicians. Chapter 243. Fjord's Shock and Denial. Luke 2 sighed and immediately used a message rune to relay the information in the most compact way. Plato immediately paled as he saw the message rune, which was used for emergency transfer of messages. What? They created a cure for Black Death and also created something called mana restoring pills? Arg, how is this possible? We too have been researching mana pills for a long time but didn't get any results over the years. How is it possible for them to get results in such a short time? That cunning John says that all of this rebellion is because of Hector, bulls. He was planning this for a long time. No way can he create and tame 2 cities in such a small time, even with those weird weapons. He thought as he heard Luke's report. It seems he long ago predicted the movements of the royal family based on his actions. He seems very good at manipulating. His butler spoke. Master, what about Winter City and Aurora City, which Lord Luke spoke about? Isn't that a matter of worry for us? Plato sighed and spoke. We need to wait for a detailed report. However, I am more worried about the political upheaval after his announcement that he has decided to give up Dolores, which he occupied previously. Plato spoke after thinking about Aurora City and Winter City. As far as those cities are concerned, he will anyway need a lot of funding to develop the other parts which he has occupied. Unless he has occupied a magic metal mine, this endeavor won't be worth it, at least for now. No. There are also those ports which can bring him money, since Eastern Port is blocked for them. It seems he already considered the pros and cons. After Hector's blockade of Eastern Port City, the value of those cities increased because of their access to the sea. It seems he considered a lot of factors when they occupied those parts. God damn it, it seems he really moved because of the blockade on the port which was caused by Prince Hector. The demon capital of Kelgan too was in a commotion as they heard about the mana restoring pills and the existence for a cure of Black Death after getting a report from their diplomat. The demon king Apollyon was currently enjoying his bath on volcanic magma. He had 2 red wings and 2 small horns on his head as he wielded a spear on his hand which seemed to be made from a snake. He had red eyes and red hair which made him look a bit handsome, Suddenly one of his subordinates entered and reported him about the matter which took place at the Sky Kingdom. The Demon King Apollyon looked at the report and immediately ordered his subordinate. He laughed as he read the report and spoke, "Send our greetings to King John of Sky Kingdom. We are recognizing them immediately. Prepare the best gifts for them. No matter what, you must secure a deal with them for a long-term supply of those pills. These pills will be our biggest asset in countering Elias and the devils at North from now on." "Yes, our spies said that soon we will be having common borders, isn't it? Very well, we will be making a deal so that we won't have any future confrontations. Send strategist Aaron for an official visit to the Sky Kingdom." As the subordinate left, Apollyon murmured, "This new king near our borders is quite interesting. I wonder how would those elders at Elias will react after hearing the news about these pills. I am sure they would be hating their guts for trying something so foolish over some profit. Anyway, I have made a decision. We will be removing a part of our army from the borders of Duke Friedreich as a show of goodwill. As far as our eastern borders are concerned, let Elias and Sky fend it off for themselves, as we don't have those ballistas to have an easy ride against those monsters. This time we will be aiming for their ballistas and those mana-restoring pills in negotiation in exchange for recognition of the Sky Kingdom and a trading relationship with us." One of the demon generals saluted and took the order. "Yes, my lord. I will immediately relay the order and move back the army from the borders of Duke Friedreich. I will also be personally visiting Duke Friedreich and other elders to remove our misunderstanding." After the general left, King Apollyon thought, "This count has quite a character to have the Blucia house backing them." Meanwhile at Laguna City, Minister Jonas was sighing as he looked at the letter which described the conspiracy of Prince Hector. He roared with frustration after reading the letter, "Damn it, why at this time? This will ruin all of our plans and create internal strife." Soon his subordinate spoke, "Lord, one of these letters was found by another minister as well. It seems the spy is determined to relay his findings to Lord Fjord. What do we do?" Jonas sighed after hearing his subordinate. "I guess, we have no choice now, do we? I am sure Duke Fjord will be more confused on how to act after this revelation. First, we will report this to him." The subordinate thought without saying anything, "Well, he doesn't have the guts to rebel like a certain lord, does he? So, of course, he will be confused." Both of them knew the answers and hence remained silent on the current situation. Inside the chambers at Laguna City's castle, Duke Fjord was constantly creasing his brows as he read the report from Jonas, who currently standing in his chambers. He asked Jonas in a grave and hoarse tone, "How is this possible? How did you confirm this news?" Jonas spoke cautiously, "This was personally confirmed by one of our spies at General Endo's ship. Apparently, Endo is the uncle of Prince Hector and it seems he is privy to some news." Fjord thought, "Impossible, this is certainly impossible. This must be a conspiracy of that count. Yes, I can't trust anyone this time around. How is it possible for me to be manipulated so easily by that count? We have already started this operation. We can't back out after such big operations." Fjord shook his head and came to his own conclusion, "I think this might be a conspiracy of that upstart to sow discord. As we know, their spies, also known as ghosts, might have decoded our encryptions and hence the wave of these messages from the seas." Jonas sighed as he understood that Duke was unable to digest this information. He thought, "It seems Duke is in complete denial after the previous continuous clashes with Count John and trying to reason out the cause of this message. Well, it will revealed sooner or later. Well, it's good. However, Lord Grimm needs to be informed so that we remain cautious against Prince Hector in future." He looked at another report but decided not to report it in case Fjord got angry. "I wonder how would Lord react if he hears about the recent event which took place at the Sky Kingdom. I am sure he will be furious after hearing the news of mana-restoring pills and the longevity pills." Chapter 244 General Nakud's Decision. At the time of dawn the next day, General Nakud and his men were slowly preparing to invade Winter City while General Endo and Darius were just right at the flanks behind the dwarves. Nakhud looked at Winter with a serious expression as he looked at the shots and thought, if I succeed in this mission to get the ballistas, then the position of the Marshal General would not be a dream for me. With the shots, my chances of succeeding are very high this time around. If it was anyone else I would have been very confident, but this time it is the mysterious Lord, John, who has brought miracles numberable times. I need to be cautious. According to the intel we got, it is believed that have a tool which can look far into the distance. When they were advancing slowly at dawn, their whole fleet saw a light signal in the sky which came from far away, about 5 to 10 kilometers away from them. Suddenly General Endo got an ominous feeling as he saw the light signal. Something is off. Why is this area completely devoid without any of the enemy ships? Eric was gravely watching the advance of General Nakhud and others as he looked at sky, where he immediately gave a light signal for Blake and others to gather reinforcements because of the immediate invasion by their enemies. Eric looked at the ships from his telescope and asked Sean, all we can do is wait and resist. All the ships already got the information about their new weapons, right? Sean nodded and spoke, yes, all the captains know about their weapons. Every one of them has confirmed it with acknowledgement. Eric looked at their weird weapons as he gave an order, this time we will be using the full range of our weapons. We can't let overconfidence in our weapons lose the lives of our comrades. Additionally, they have great numbers, so we need to be very cautious this time around. I won't be taking any chances when it comes to the lives of my comrades. Sean seriously nodded and got to work. Meanwhile, Lucius, Clay, Swan and others had quietly snuck onto Judd's fleet with their disguises which concealed their faces. Clay was in a quite good mood after he was successfully able to infiltrate the ships with their horses. He thought, I guess it was good collaborating with Swan, or it would have been way more tough to infiltrate the Aurora squad. Lucius meanwhile had other thoughts as he looked at the heavy atmosphere which was permeating in the ship. I guess something big is going to happen. We better be prepared for any unknown circumstances. The atmosphere here is quite tense. Swan nodded as he was quite familiar with Judd and his workings. Yes, there wouldn't be such an atmosphere even in the toughest times. I guess something really is off. I think this might be related to our sudden release and training under Jake. From my guesses, a war is brewing at the seas and hence the sudden abolition for juniors. Very soon, there was a light signal at the sky which came from quite far as the entire Winter City port got into action. There was sudden order from Judd to everyone, prepare yourselves, we are leaving for Winter City. Enemy has apparently advanced to our borders. This time, our job is to assassinate the important men after the main fleets fight them off using the cannons. Very soon Judd's fleet and all the other surrounding fleets left for Winter City, with a few remaining at Aurora to defend the city. Clay and Swan were apparently shocked, but they were also excited at the same time, while Lucius had the same old cold look as he looked at the gun which was specially prepared by Tim, and he thought, finally, I can fight those bastards from Fjord's domain and avenge my parents. As soon as General Nakhud and others reached the borders of Winter City, Eric used the stone rune and immediately roared towards the direction of Nakhud, Darius, and Endo, invaders from Elias and Brindil, leave at once. You are entering the territory of Sky Kingdom. Any further advances from your side will be considered an invasion of our sovereign territories. You guys alone will bear the consequences if your fleet's annihilated. Expecting the answer, General Nakhud smiled and spoke, whom are you fooling? You guys are simply pirates who have occupied our territories. Don't even try to disguise yourself as the Navy of Sky Kingdom. You guys will be dealt with shortly. As for Endo and Darius, they didn't even bother to reply as Darius snorted and simply advanced from the flanks of General Nakhud. Looking at the reply by everyone, Eric had a grave expression as he spoke, it seems they simply won't understand unless they have a taste of our naval prowess. Sean, prepare the cannons and order to shoot them when anyone comes in our range. Immediately, Eric and his fleet got into preparations mode as they started shooting the cannons when Nakhud's fleet advanced their red lines. The fleets of General Endo and Darius started advancing from the flanks without worrying about others. The sounds of cannons could be heard almost immediately when they were fired. Watching the cannons in action, everyone was shocked by the monstrous power and the range of the cannons which was unleashed by the enemy. One of the dwarfs immediately exclaimed as one of their ships was blown by the cannon, "Hey, what is that weapon? God damn it, why is their range so big? We need to advance so that they can come in the range of shots. Damn it, why are they only targeting us and not Darius and others? What is going on?" Darius and Endo smiled as they looked at the current situation where only General Nokhud's fleet was targeted. Nokhud had a shocked face as he looked at the cannons. He slowly murmured as he looked at the carnage that was brought by the cannons, "Were they always hiding such weapons? We can't fight them if they have such lethal weapons. We will face numerous losses against these weapons." He thought, "I either need to advance with full force or retreat immediately, or else it will mean the annihilation of our fleet. And there is this suspicious action where they are only targeting us. Do they already know about our secret weapons? No, that is impossible." Very soon the best scout on Nokhud's deck reported to him, "My lord, I need to report you a serious matter." General Nokhud had a serious and angry face as he looked at the scout. "What is it?" The scout looked around and spoke in a serious manner, "According to my observations, the enemy ships are more faster than the ones that we bought from Duke Fjord. Lord John and his men have faster ships. We need to make a decision." I only observed it when some of the ships at their back were excitedly running, but it was soon stopped as if someone gave the order to hide their speed. General Nokhud was shocked as he realized that this won't be an easy battle. He thought, "It seems they are hiding a lot of things. More like they were prepared for the worst when they made this settlement. I need to rethink my plans." General Nokhud looked around as he saw the fleets of General Endo and Darius moving forward without any care. He thought, "We can use them." He then looked at his ships which were blown by the cannons and thought, So I need to either abandon these ships with shots or probably face annihilation and conquer them. No, they have hidden a lot of things like the speed of their ships. They can simply run and kite us." From my understanding, that letter wasn't exaggerating when they described the weapons or their speed. I can't be sure about victory. I can't take this gamble. He then gravely looked at the cannons, sighed and came to a conclusion, "Very well, we will leave. They anyway have better weapons than us. I might as well save the lives of my men and take responsibility for this loss. Those fools, Darius and Endo, might even help us in our escape." Making a stern face, Nokhud gravely ordered their fleet, "We will be retreating, I repeat, we will be retreating immediately." There was a communication misunderstanding between Brindle and the naval forces of Sky Kingdom. A lot of people from the BRYNDYLL's fleet were shocked but decided to follow the orders of their generals. Chapter 245 We got too conceited. The same was the reaction from Eric and others who watched General Nokhud retreating with his fleet at full speed. He was surprised by the sudden flexible decision made by General Nokhud. Meanwhile, Darius and Endo were completely shocked by the shamelessness of Nokhud, as they never imagined him to take such a drastic action, as dwarves were known for their bravery. Eric thought suspiciously, "Do they already know about the speed of our ships?" He then looked at Darius and Endo while he watched the light signal which came from their reinforcements from Aurora City. He chuckled and ordered, "Change targets, strike the fleets of Darius and General Endo. No need to worry about Nokhud, Blake is already here." Judd too looked at dwarves with a meaningful look and ordered his men, "Target the fleet of fjords with full force. No need for any survivors. General Blake will take care of others that are fleeing. Anyway, this battle will be the turning point in the history of this continent." Eric thought as he looked at the feeble strength of his enemies, "It seems we would not need have much use of the Aurora squad this time around." Endo currently had a sense of crisis as he watched the fleeing fleets of Brindle and the raised morale of their enemy forces. He thought, "This is bad. We can't win this war. Not to mention the casualties if we fight this count head-on with those weapons. Our ballistas are not even in their range yet." Soon he saw one of his ships getting blown by the cannons. Not even a magic knight was able to resist the might of cannons. He thought, "Hey, not even a magic knight was able to resist that cannon. Would my protectors be able to resist them? Is this fight worth it? He asked one of his guards. Hey, you guys, what do you think about those weapons? One of the guards spoke. Very lethal and dangerous. We might be able to defend against those normal cannons for a while, but it will be very tough to defend against those cannons with magical runes. One of those magical cannons blew one of the nearby ships. I don't think we can defend against those cannons. He screamed as he heard their conclusions. What? No, I definitely can't die here without achieving a single thing. Endo immediately ordered his guards. We are retreating immediately. Order everyone, we are retreating. I can't lose my little life on these violent waters. Wars and conflicts have become quite dangerous these days because of the introduction of those new weapons. Just look previously the fate of those mercenaries. Not a single one was able to survive except for that crafty guy Joss. I heard he made quite a sum but lost a lot of his men. One of the guards was dumbstruck by the shamelessness of Endo as he heard his explanation. He thought, wasn't he boasting previously that this will be his stepping stone? I guess he got too conceited. One of his guards asked cautiously, Sir, what about the fjords? General Endo immediately answered with an irritated face, what about them? Fuck them, we are leaving. We were only here for merits, who knew we might also lose our lives at any moment if one of those cannons hit us. In the first place, this war was started because of them when we decided to support Fjord. You guys don't want to die a dog's death, right? The guards too came to the same conclusion as they nodded and thought, yeah, it's better if we leave. Very soon Blake and men too arrived as watched Knockhood and his men slowly departing their waters. Sean watched this scene and asked Blake, do we let them go? Blake shook his head and spoke, do you really think I am someone who can let his enemies leave this easily? Tell the men to start chasing them and attack their ships. They can start using the water boosters to speed up and catch them. Try capturing Knockhood and his men alive. Let Eric handle the armies of Elias and Fjord. Judd will take care of the ones trying to escape. Pass on the orders immediately. Sean nodded and got work, yes. Very soon various drum signals were sent through the main ship as all the captains got the orders. One of the captains sighed and spoke with a smile, finally, we can use our full power. Our men would be quite happy to see the real power of our navy this time around. Start chasing and firing the cannons as they come in our range. We can't let them go off the hook. There are consequences of some actions which one needs to bear. Start the chase. One of the mates shouted in joy, yes. Chase the invaders. Let them know the consequences of provoking us. Very soon, one of the ships from Blake's fleet started using the water boosters which were recently built and started chasing Knockhood and his fleet. The other ships too joined and started chasing the ships. One of the scouts from Endo's ship noticed the speed of Blake's ship and remarked, what is this? How is this speed even possible? No way. This is very big. Even Endo was shocked after watching the speed of their ships. He cautiously asked the scout, according to you, what is the current speed of the enemy ships compared to the ships owned by Fjords? The scout watched them and made rough calculation. They are currently 2.5 times more faster than Fjords, however I am not sure about their fastest speed. Endo sucked in his breath as he looked at the ship's incredulity. He murmured, can we really escape this battlefield? No, I can't get captured by these barbarians or my future is ruined. Brother-in-law would never forgive me. If I can bring this information then I can salvage my situation, not to mention these weird weapons. He continued and roared hysterically as he saw another one of his ships getting blown off. Order everyone to retreat in full force. Just that small team of ships is capable enough to rout us out. We can't take risks. Meanwhile, he whispered to his guard, we are disguising and leaving. Very quickly Blake and his men caught up to Knockhood and started firing cannons continuously. Knockhood grunted as he saw his ships getting blown off one after another. Damn it, try using shots to counter those weird weapons of theirs. I'll try using the magicians to speed up our fleet. One of the subordinates watched the speed of the enemy ships and spoke, "Lord, it is still futile, look at their ships and weapons." Nakhud asked with annoyance as he focused on escaping, "What is it?" The subordinate spoke, "They are at least 2.5 times faster than our ships. We can't escape, we have to either surrender or scramble and escape in multiple directions to have a chance to escape. However, the main ship won't be able to escape. That barbarian Blake is keenly looking at our ship and chasing from a distance like a predator." Nakhud grunted in frustration and thought back when he first received the shots, "Damn it! If I knew that they had such weapons, then I wouldn't even have bothered to suggest this invasion. I got too conceited because of the shots we possessed." With a determined look, Nakhud grit his teeth, made a decision and spoke, "All right, we will scramble and escape. If they come to close, use our shots. With these shots, we have a higher chance to escape. Even if I can't escape, the ministers at Brindle should get the intelligence about these guys immediately." Watching the decision of Nakhud, the subordinate too gritted his teeth and announced the orders for the whole fleet. Chapter 246. Meanwhile, Eric was currently targeting Endo and Darius. Suddenly one of the cannons blew away one of the ships escorting Darius. Watching the ship blown to pieces, Darius came to his senses and roared, "What is this? What are those weapons? Didn't they only have ballistas? When did they get such weapons? Even we don't know about them, my lord. It seems they were one of the weapons of Count John and hence defiance to the royal family." Meanwhile, Lucius was currently watching Fjord's fleet for a long time as he tried to control his emotions and killing intent. Watching one of the shots almost blowing 200 meters near their ships, Blake ordered with a serious face, "Be careful while chasing Nakhud and his men, they have dangerous weapons. Wear them out and then capture them. Those weapons of theirs are pretty dangerous, so it is better to be cautious." Sean watched the situation and spoke to Blake, "Blake, why don't we take some risks and try to catch them all?" Blake smiled and answered as he watched the battlefield, "This battle is already decided by our cannons and the speed of our ships. There is no need for unnecessary casualties. Meanwhile, we already have General Nakhud by his neck, so he can't escape anyway. As far as information regarding our naval prowess is concerned, it will be revealed one way or another after this war. So it is no use trying to conceal this information and lose our men unnecessarily." Sean nodded as he understood Blake's line of thinking, "I guess there is no use in unnecessary loss of lives. Let's see what is going on at the other side." Sean nodded and started looking at Eric's side of the battlefield with his telescope. A lot of people from the vanguard were fleeing into waters without caring about the consequences. Darius even tried to kill some deserters, but it was futile as people preferred dying while deserting instead of dying as cannon fodder. Darius barked as he frustratingly saw the whole chaos on the battlefield, "Damn those cannons, these guys can't even get some time for our escape. Try using the ballistas to counter them even if we don't have the range, issue the orders. Fuck, even those guys from the royal family are escaping now that the situation is dire." Darius looked at the cannons with burning rage as he continued giving out orders to stabilize his fleet. One of the magicians and magic knight on Fjord's fleet barked, "Damn this count, because of his new weapons of war, the whole landscape of war has changed. Even the behavior of military officials has changed. If I get my hands on that count, I swear I will rip him to pieces." Another magic knight grunted, "Yet, previously those officials would be quite polite to the individuals with great prowess. Now, look at them trying to kiss the ass of those archers. Hey, look out, another one of those cannons is coming." After more than half of the fleet of both Darius and Endo got wiped out, Judd finally made his move. Judd smiled and spoke as he watched the enemy forces running in chaos, "Come, we are starting our hunt. You guys can use your rifles and Aurora horses after we get near them. We will be targeting the captains of all the enemy ships so that their control loosens. Is that clear? If there are any doubts, ask right away." Everyone roared as they heard the orders, "Yes, my lord." "Very well, let's roll." Swan smiled and roared in a low voice as he heard the orders of Judd, finally. Very soon the Aurora unit started its operation to kill the captains. The Aurora unit was quite eye-catching as it slowly approached the enemy ships that were trying to flee. One of the scouts was quite confused as he watched the eye-catching Aurora unit. Hey look, what are those? Horses on ships? Are they going to ride horses on water? Is this war a joke to them? The very next second the scout was so shocked that he couldn't believe what was happening in front of his eyes. What shocked him was that Judd and his unit left the ship as the horses. They rode the horses as they traveled the seas with twice the speed. The Aurora horses were quite eye-catching as they dispersed in small units to accomplish their missions. Boom! One of the captains died as he was targeted by a rifleman on Aurora unit. Darius was quite shocked as he saw rifles and Aurora horses. Damn it, now what are those weapons and beasts? Sensing danger, Darius ducked and almost missed a bullet that was targeted by Lucius. Looking back, he saw his subordinate dying a gruesome death as his head was pierced by a bullet. Lucius grunted as he saw the scene. Tch. Judd too was quite surprised watching the reactions of one of his soldiers. He thought and murmured, "Why do I feel that this guy is familiar? Nah, I am probably imagining." After again giving a look at Lucius, he proceeded to assassinate other captains. Swan too was enjoying on the battlefield as his wings were finally free now that the operation had started. He was continuously targeting the scouts and captains on various fleets that were trying to escape. Sensing the killing intent from Lucius, he understood that he bore a deep grudge against the Fjords. In his joy, he started laughing and targeting the captains of Fjord's ship one by one and spoke. "Ha ha ha, finally I am free from that swindler. Now let's see how that swindler Judd can stop me from participating in this war." Hearing Swan's laugh, Clay angrily roared, "Hey, what are you laughing for? Had it not been my idea, you wouldn't even be able to participate in this war over here." Very soon Azrael came near him, blocked Clay's mouth and spoke, "Hey, keep it low. Keep it low. Look, Captain is already looking angrily at Swan. I don't want to be caught with you guys." Hearing this laugh, Judd understood that Swan was there. He had a grave and angry look as he roared, "Damn those brats, even after my repeated warnings and orders, they still infiltrated the ship. Fudge, Blake will certainly blame me for this mishap." Blake and Sean smiled as they too looked at the troublemakers that were enjoying on the battlefield. Sean asked Blake with a curious look, "What do you say, Blake? How are those brats?" Blake smiled and spoke, "Well, it's their choice, I can't block them. They will face punishment after the war. Meanwhile, keep a lookout on them. Yes, try to extort Judd this time around. It feels good that Judd too has to take care of notorious brats." Watching Blake's look, Sean laughed and nodded. Lucius asked his mates, "Hey, Clay, Azrael, Anna, come and help me infiltrate that ship." Azrael looked at the ship and spoke gravely, "Are you serious? That is the main ship of Fjords. Are you sure?" Leaking killing intent, Lucius spoke with a ruthless glint, "Yes, I am very much sure." Watching his determination, everyone understood that Lucius would not stop even if they tried. Clay immediately spoke, "Okay, I will help you. As buddies, we can't leave you in a ditch." Azrael and Anna too nodded as they started heading towards the ship of Darius and started shooting the magicians and magic knights on that ship. Very soon, people started noticing the anomaly that Darius was continuously losing his men. Swan too watched them as he thought, "It seems they are going for the head of Fjords, Darius's head for better merit. I can't miss this opportunity." Swan joined and he too started targeting the crew members of Darius's ship. Judd too particularly noticed this anomaly and thought, "It seems these kids are up to something. I can't let them die under my watch." It seems even that Swan is going there. It looks like his shooting has improved quite a bit after that event in the forests. Judd soon started following them as he kept a watch on the kids. Darius screamed as he saw his men falling down one by one, "Damn, why are we losing our men left and right? One of the subordinates spoke, "Boss, it seems a unit is heading our way. They are the ones who are continuously targeting us." Very soon Lucius and Co clear the front and headed on Darius's ship. Lucius spoke, "Cover me. Fire anyone that tries to approach us. Attack them, don't let come near the Admiral." Boom! Boom! Consecutive gunfire could be seen as Azrael, Swan, and others started shooting the crew. Only the magic knights were somewhat able to defend against the rifles because of their magic shields. One of the magicians behind the magic knights prepared to shoot an ice arrow. Watching the danger and crisis, Judd too sped up and shot the magician immediately. Chapter 247. Judd roared as he looked at those brats with anger, "Fudge these brats! They will certainly take me down as well. All the plans are now waste. Damn that magician!" Looking at the magician preparing to attack them, he sighed and followed them and immediately filled the rifle with magic energy and shot it continuously. Soon the bullets were fired with wind energy as they pierced through the air and rolled with incredible speed. One of the magic knights tried to defend the magician with his magic shield, but soon everyone was surprised after looking at the magic shield, which was pierced with holes. A lot of magic knights and magicians were immediately alarmed after watching the situation. One of the magicians even exclaimed, "Whoa! We can't even defend it with steel shields? What the heck are those weapons?" After getting shot, both the magician and the magic knight fell, making small movements that indicated they were struggling. After struggling for a few seconds, both of them died. Even Darius, who was paying attention to the battlefield, was startled as he saw both the magician and magic knight falling down. Then he looked at Lucius and his team, who seemed familiar to him. "Why do you seem familiar, kid?" "Ah, right, weren't you that bastard Henry's kid? So it seems you joined the army of that upstart. Perfect, with this I will be able to teach a lesson to both that upstart and Henry. Ah, it seems you are here for revenge for your mother. We are changing our mission, capture this kid and we will flee immediately. Anyone who captures him will get 1,000 gold pieces from me. This battle is doomed for sure." Hearing this, Judd was shocked for a moment and understood why these kids undertook the task of killing Darius and their team. Judd thought, "I had read some reports that Henry's kid was in our domain, so he was the kid. Since he is under me, I better not let him die." After hearing Darius, Swan had a cold light in his eyes as he murmured, "So that's the reason why they are here. It seems these scums need to die to abate my anger. I better start targeting seriously." Swan started targeting the helmsman so that the ship stops and loses direction and can be chased by other allies. Clay already had an idea of the situation after interacting several times with Lucius and finally started showing his fangs on the deck. With red eyes, Lucius gritted his teeth and fired at the magicians indiscriminately as he tried moving towards Darius and his men. During this mess, Endo and his men successfully changed their disguise and landed on a ship, which was very common. Endo sighed with relief as he saw numerous ships surrounding the ship of Darius. He smiled and spoke, "Your sacrifice won't be in vain. Come, let's go." He signaled his men and used a magic stone which seemed rare. "Use this to increase our speed when we are on borders. Don't let us get noticed until we are safe from them." "Yes, sir." Watching the rifles shooting people down on Darius's deck, Endo gasped for some air and thought, he murmured, "It's good that they have some personal grudge with Darius, or else it would have been me and my men. We were completely misled by the information department. Maybe they were completely unaware. They have complete superior forces based on their weapons. Plato will certainly be pissed. I would be lucky to escape." Watching the bloodshed and the rate at which Darius's ship fell down, Endo murmured, "We need to leave fast. Start increasing the speed of ships slowly." The Guardian nodded and started increasing the speed as he too was alarmed by the speed at which ships fell down on Darius's side. Darius was continuously cursing as he watched the ships inching closer to him. "Fuck, what are these damn weapons? Kill them fast. Target that damn brat." A lot of gunshots were being fired at Darius, which were being defended a group of guardians. Suddenly one of the gunshots nearly grazed him as he saw Judd smiling. It seemed as if Judd was currently playing with them. Watching the grave situation and arrival of more ships, he bought his guardian and whispered, "Prepare to leave, we will finally use that. Even that lunatic is over here." With hatred Lucius was continuously gunning down the sailors. "Today is the day you will die, Darius." After watching the magic stone in his guardian's hand, Darius smiled and spoke arrogantly, "Humph, you lowborns can't do shit. You and your father will die just like your mother. As for these other runts, they too will pay the price for offending me. If you are so much eager to fight me a one-on-one duel unlike the current situation." Watching the tone, Swan immediately targeted Darius, which was defended by a magic knight. Again he shot, but this time he used a magic bullet which pierced a hole on their shield and armor as the knight fell down. Watching the grave situation, Darius roared at his other guardian, "Hurry up." After making preparations, the guardian nodded and finally used one of the runic magic stones and blasted it. All of a sudden there was smoke everywhere in a 400-meter radius as people started scrambling for their lives. Watching this situation, Judd bit his lower lip and ordered and his men, "Guard those kids and try to catch as many people as possible." This time Darius and his guardians were on a small ship as they slowly drifted away. Darius murmured as they left on the small ship, "This upstart has repeatedly humiliated me, I can't let this go on for any longer. With at least this much gap, I am sure they certainly wouldn't be able to find us and chase us." Very soon almost all of the sailors on the deck were either captured or killed by Judd and his men. Looking nearby, Lucius saw that Darius can't be found and tried to find him among the prisoners. Very soon Azrael came to his side and pointed him to a direction with a telescope. He spoke, "He is moving southwest on that unconscious ship." Clay was surprised and immediately asked him, "Hey, when did you get that telescope?" Azrael smiled and spoke, "Hee, I just borrowed it from one of my seniors." Clay asked him, "Does he know that you borrowed it?" After pretending to not hear the question, Azrael spoke softly, "No." Clay nodded and spoke, "I knew that. None of the seniors gave me a telescope and no wonder they blamed me when one of them lost a telescope." Lucius nodded and spoke, "Okay, we are chasing that bastard, we can't waste any time. I won't get peace unless I catch that bastard." Chapter 248. Swan smiled and spoke to Lucius, "Why don't we ask Captain Judd to blow that ship?" Lucius shook his head and spoke, "No, I will kill him with my very own hands." Swan sighed and spoke, "I guess we have no choice. Very well, let's go." Very soon all of them landed on a ship which previously belonged to Fjords. Clay asked Swan as he watched him fitting some equipment on the ship, "Hey, what are you fitting on this lousy ship?" Swan smiled as he looked at the water boosters and spoke in a mysterious way, "Well, this is one of our trump cards to catch that bastard." After preparations, they started chasing Darius and his ship. One of the scouts noted an anomaly and spoke to the cannoneer, "Don't shoot, those kids are on that ship." Judd was really frustrated as he saw that the kids had disappeared after the magic smoke bomb which blasted earlier. One of his subordinates came near him and spoke, "My lord, those kids are apparently on Fjord's ship and going southwest." With frustration, he spoke, "Damn it. Send one team to chase them. That's why I hate bringing kids on a battlefield. Even that cunning Endo has left." "Yes, my lord." After watching the general direction of Darius's ship, Swan activated the water booster and increased his speed by 2 times. Clay was surprised as he looked at the water boosters with stars in his eyes. "Whoa, this is incredible." Pleased with Clay's expression, Swan proudly spoke, "Good, from now on follow me and you shall see more surprises." After some while, Darius's ship in their view and they increased their speed to maximum. Darius roared, "Damn, who is chasing us now?" "It is one of our ships." Darius skeptically watched and asked, "How is it possible? I don't think there is any ship that can be compared to our speed." One of the scouts immediately spoke, "Lord, it is those brats that are chasing us. Darius was shocked as he thought and smiled. He spoke in a cunning manner after some realization. What? Good, start firing ballistas on them. Looking at the way that Captain was protecting them, they must be good in combat. Okay, my lord. But very soon one of the ballistas hit their ship. Darius immediately roared as he saw one ballista blowing off their mast. Fouquet, do they want to sink me? Turn the directions, we will deal with them and escape on their ship. Does that brat think, I can't even handle him? One subordinate spoke, I advise against this decision, my lord. There are other ships which are behind those brats. Darius shut him up and spoke, no need, I have already decided, we will take over their ships and weapons when we escape. There is a better chance to escape with their weapons and accessories. This can also give us merit when we return. Don't target that ship, it is our way to escape. The subordinate sighed and spoke, yes, my lord. Lucius smiled as he watched Darius's ship turning their direction and heading their way. He spoke, good, exactly as planned. When they come, starting firing our rifles on them indiscriminately. Swan, you will target Darius with your magic bullets. Swan subconsciously nodded, yes. Swan soon realized and spoke in an angry manner, ah, whom are you ordering? Humph, I will target him on my own accord. He thought and nodded, I guess I now understand why I don't like this brat. A natural leader, I guess. Well, since he has a personal grudge against him, I might as well listen to him for once. Blasts and gunfire could be heard as Darius's ship approached them. Azrael smiled and whispered to Lucius, which surprised him, and he immediately took a sound stone. Lucius spoke on the sound stone, hear me, sailors on the enemy ship. As long as you drop your weapons and raise your hands, you won't be killed. Resist and you will die in front of our weapons. Darius ruthlessly roared as he understood the plan of Lucius, who dares betray me? Soon Darius's ship got near Lucius's ship and the rate of casualty increased as well. This was the time when a lot of soldiers dropped their weapons. At this time, Darius was about to kill one of the deserters when his subordinate stopped him and spoke in a grave tone, Sir, you don't want to cause a mutiny, do you? He then pointed out towards some of the guys who had dropped their weapons, look, some of them are ready to retaliate if you try to kill them. With immense anger, Darius roared, why? The subordinate spoke as he looked in the direction of soldiers, they don't see hope in surviving this battle if they fight for you. You are meaninglessly leading them to their deaths. Even if we catch this ship, the other ships won't let us leave. They have already pointed their cannons in our directions. Meanwhile, Lucius and crew landed on Darius's ship as they rounded up. Looking at one of the leaders, Swan orders him, you, chain them all up. It seems you are their leader and you are also the one who decided to surrender. The captain solemnly spoke as he understood that he was a disloyal soldier now, yes, there is no meaning in this battle. I and my men will unnecessarily lose lives for some merit which will ultimately belong to that scum. However, I don't think we can survive this battle. We could have left previously, but after underestimating you kids, he decided to use us as cannon fodder. We have already suffered enough when he betrayed the mates when he ran in the previous 2 battles. I ain't fighting for a scum. Satisfied with his answer, Swan nodded and spoke, good, detain the men who have decided to surrender. Our men won't shoot them. Lucius headed towards Darius and spoke, didn't you want a one-on-one duel previously? Look, I just came to fulfill that demand of yours. Looking at the situation, Darius knew that he couldn't back down as he snorted and immediately charged in to surprise Lucius. Darius murmured as he charged, this runt thinks he can fight a knight in a one-on-one duel. Good, this will be a good chance to escape if I can get hold of him. Lucius immediately took out his small sword and a knife and moved to his left. He knew that he can't fight him head-on when it comes to strength. Lucius watched him and concluded, he has good speed, I can't attack him yet. When he moved to his left, he scratched his knife on Darius. Darius again charged as he ignored the minor damage which was inflicted by Lucius. Again Lucius scratched his skin with his knife. The game of a cat and mouse continued for a while. Lucius would occasionally try to attack him with his sword, which was always easily deflected by Darius's shield. This gave the impression that Darius's shield was very sturdy. Getting frustrated by this chasing game, Darius tried to provoke him. "Humph, why don't you give up? You can only fight with that rifle of yours." But this time, Darius's movements had slowed down. After watching Darius's slowed movements, Lucius this time smiled and moved in to attack him. Finally, Lucius roared and charged. "Very well, since you want a head-on battle. Don't regret it later on." This time when he charged with his sword and knife, both his sword and knife were giving a black glow as runes too activated on it. Looking at the sword, Clay smiled and spoke, "It seems, he is finally going to use that sword of his." Swan was confused as he asked, "What? Aren't you worried that he might die? And what is with that general's eye?" Azrael sighed and spoke, "I guess, you don't know. Yet, you weren't with us when we were training with Jake previously. You don't need to worry about Lucius, he is quite strong. As far as that sword and knife is concerned, they were made from a dark ore and were personally gifted by instructor Jake to Lucius for attaining the first position among us juniors. That black glow apparently is Lucius's dark energy covered at the edges. Since Lucius didn't have enough magic energy, he had decided this trick to maximize the efficiency by only covering the edges of his sword with dark energy. In any case, Lucius is better at close combat anyway, you don't need to worry. As for that general's eye, I heard that he lost it Lucius's mom if he is Mr. Henry's son." Chapter 249. Swan looked at Lucius deeply and nodded, "I guess I too would have chased this bastard if something like that happened to me." Very soon Lucius smiled as he knew that poison on his knife had worked to slow down Darius, and he thrust violently towards Darius's neck as suddenly a violent gale passed on the ship. Darius smiled and headed straight on towards Lucius. "Again with this lousy sword? Humph, this very charge will be your deathbed." However, unlike what everyone expected, Lucius's sword pierced his shield and moved on to pierce his throat, while his small knife was pointed towards his eye and suddenly extended as it took Darius's other eye. Both his neck and eye were bleeding as Lucius immediately backed off as he knew that Darius would rampage after losing his other eye. Darius roared and cursed as he couldn't see anything. "Damn, this mother and son." Everyone on the board was surprised, including the guys who had surrendered previously. One of the guys murmured, "Hey, what was that attack? It even pierced General's shield with reinforcement magic." Even the scouts on the ships that were previously chasing Lucius and his ship were surprised after looking at this outcome. They were already prepared with the light magicians if anything untoward happened to Lucius. Lucius didn't stop as he again targeted his limbs this time around. He thinks he will get an easy death. After losing 2 of his fingers, Darius was really scared as he begged for his life. "Spare me, boy, I was wrong to kill your mother, I will do anything as long as you spare life. The very idea of killing you and your family was of Duke Fjord. You have to believe me. I can tell you all of the secrets of Duke Fjord." One of Darius's soldiers was disgusted as they knew what transpired that day when he tried to force himself on Lucius's mother and lost his eye. Lucius didn't stop as he continued and spoke, "Whether it was Fjord's plan or not, he too will die for harboring you. As for you, I will have my fun with you." Lucius got near him and grabbed his neck as he continuously tortured the flailing Darius with his knife. "Beg for your life, beg so hard that my mother in heaven can hear your screams." Everyone around was shocked after watching this cruelty from a little child and understood that this child trained to this point solely to get his revenge. After sorting everything out, Judd too had arrived with his ship. The scout too was shocked when watched the duel from his telescope. He sighed and described this duel to Judd and spoke, "It seems this child certainly is Henry's kid, m'lord." Judd too nodded and ordered, "Tell the 2 squads of Aurora to head towards their ship quietly. We too are heading towards them. As for Lucius, it seems we gained a gem this time around. Looking at his combat skills, I think he will be big in the future." "Yes, try getting Darius back alive. However, as soon as Judd and his men came near them, Lucius immediately pierced his sword into Darius's heart after sensing their arrival. He knew that they would want him alive and hence he killed Darius. He thought, humph. He can't live. No matter the consequences, I will face them. If need, I will north frontier town. Everyone on board was a little surprised after watching Lucius's action, and many made their own opinion regarding this kid. The leader of Fjord's soldiers thought, this kid is quite decisive. It seems he will be big looking at his actions and determination. Swan, Clay, and Azrael meanwhile didn't think anything of it, as they already declared him dead after hearing his past. The scout sighed after watching this scene and spoke, Judd, Darius is dead. Judd sighed and spoke, I guess there is no helping it. Even that bastard Endo has escaped. In a day and a half, the whole battle was concluded with very few casualties. Very soon all of the prisoners were shifted to Aurora and Winter City. Eric too was surprised after hearing of the conclusion of this war. After Judd saw the brats, angrily he came to Clay, Azrael, Lucius, and others and spoke, you guys better know that there is hell waiting for you. I just got to know that you guys knocked down some of the kitchen staff and boarded the ships. Humph, not to mention all the things which were confiscated from you guys. Clay spoke as if he was greatly wronged, what are you talking about? I never took anything. Judd smiled and asked, are you sure? Looking at this smile, Clay and others shivered a bit. Clay remembered that he had hidden some magical bullets in his quarters but brushed off the idea that Judd can find them. Clay gritted his teeth and spoke with determination as the other guys watched him amusingly, yes. I am sure. Judd smiled and spoke, very well. I hope you won't regret. Judd smiled and signaled his subordinate to bring out all the things which were taken by the brats. Telescope, magic bullets, water boosters, swords, and other accessories. Lucius meanwhile sighed with relief that he wouldn't be punished for killing Darius. Meanwhile, everyone was surprised as they watched their deeds coming out in open. Clay remembered Azrael's previous excuse and spoke loudly, they were just borrowed, we were anyway going to return them. Everyone started laughing as they heard Clay. Judd furrowed his brows with anger as he heard Clay. Bring these kids to the institute, they will be banned from practical training for the next 3 months. Yes, they will also be required to clean the whole institute every day for the next 3 months. At this time, a storm came which changed the directions of a lot of ships. Endo's small ship was also one of them. Joe meanwhile was frustratingly studying at the new institute at Aurora and sneezed at the cold weather. He thought, these guys must be having fun out there. Blake meanwhile was surprised after hearing that Lucius was the one who killed Darius after chasing him down. Sean spoke, we need to keep a look on this kid. Endo has meanwhile escaped from this battlefield. We have sent search teams to locate them. Blake shook his head and spoke, no need, Lord John already gave his orders about this kid. Let him develop his own way. As for Endo, I know him from his times, he is a cunning guy who will only act if there are benefits for him. A very rational guy who knows his limits. He might have already escaped at the start of this war. Searching him now will be futile. By the way, bring that dwarf in. Sean tried to confirm, Knockhood. Yes. Watching the chained Knockhood, Blake smiled and asked, aren't you quite shameless, Knockhood? Grunting Knockhood replied, not more than you. When lives are online, becoming shameless is a good trait in wars, you know. Blake smiled as he too understood, as he too had escaped quite a lot of times previously when he was chased by the royal family of Elias and Fjords. Well, I can't disagree with you on this. However, it seems you guys miscalculated us this time around. Didn't you? Knockhood smiled and answered, yes, it seems you guys had superior battle prowess this time around. However, this time you won't be able to hide it from other powers. You would have to compromise some powers at least. Blake smiled and answered, well, that is no problem for us. The very aim of this battle was to show our prowess to the world, and this time negotiating with dwarves won't be a problem for us as we have you with us. Yes, we have also caught half of your men this time around. The only sad part is that Endo escaped at the start of this battle when we chased after you and your men. Knockhood was quite shocked and spoke, that was escaped. Blake smiled and spoke, but 80% of his army was destroyed. You don't seem happy. Knockhood spoke with frustration, it seems we were used by fjords this time around. He sent the smallest amount of forces this time around. I guess he knew that this would happen. Well, this battle was bound to occur as your ballistas touched our imperial interests. Chapter 250. At Aurora Port and Winter City Port, a lot of sailors were celebrating their victory over Ilias, Fjords, and Brindil. One of the sailors cheered in the pub and spoke enthusiastically, "Ha ha ha, today is a good day, we have apparently killed one enemy general and also captured one enemy general from Brindil." Another guy who was unaware of the situation spoke, so that's the reason why we are seeing so many prisoners in chains at port. I hope this doesn't trigger a diplomatic offensive from dwarves as well. I wonder who killed the enemy general this time around." The other guy spoke as enthusiastically sipped his new wine. It was a kid called Lucius, he was the one who killed the enemy general from Fjord's domain. I think the general's name was Darius, who led the Fjords this time around, however, they had a very small fleet this time around. As far as a diplomatic offensive is concerned, we don't need to worry. Both Aurora and Winter was already declared as a part of our domain a few days back. So it will be considered an invasion if they come. And as it will be open to public in a few days, so this time, we can expect a lot of people to arrive here and conduct trade. Apparently our ports will be opened after all of this messy battlefield is sorted out. That storm really changed all of our plans to chase those invaders. One of the guys from Brand's ship asked, "Isn't that kid hanging with that half-beast brat, Clay?" One of the guys from Aurora squad, who was quiet for a while, spoke as he heard about the brats. "Yes, the very same kid, those brats had apparently stolen my telescope previously." "Yes, I remember them, that kid called Clay is always creating troubles for everyone." "Yes, from what I heard from Captain Judd, after interrogation it was revealed that it was that brat's plan when they infiltrated the ships to participate in this war." A lot of guys laughed as they talked about those brats. "Ha ha ha, good, these kids sure do have a lot of courage. Countries might not lack men, but they will always lack men with bravery. These kids surely are fearless when it comes to fighting and war." One of the old men spoke with a bright shine in his eyes. "It seems those kids have shown their true worth in this war. Where are they now? I am sure they would be enjoying now." The sailor from Brand's squad laughed and spoke, "Ha ha ha, no, I saw those brats grumbling in the morning as they were cleaning the whole institute at Aurora today. It seems Captain Judd has given them punishment for breaking various laws. You must see that kid, Clay." One of the devil travelers murmured as he heard the folks, "It seems Lord John this time waged a calculated war. This town somehow looks more advanced in terms of production capabilities after looking at the nearby clothes. Meanwhile, the atmosphere of the commoners here is quite good. I think it will be worthwhile to invest in this kingdom." The traveler was from the first batch of people who came to Aurora from sea with Sky Kingdom's navy for a trade mission. The shockwaves of this battle spread to all the corners in this region. The very first to be alerted of defeat was Brindil Kingdom when they saw half of their army returning from various directions. One of the soldier captains immediately informed their internal minister about the situation of the current battle. "It is bad, my lord. This operation of ours has failed. This time we faced a lot of new weapons which wasn't provided by the Information Bureau. General Knockhood sacrificed himself so that we could escape and relay the news. There is one more piece of information which will shock the whole ministry. Lord John's navy apparently has ships which are much faster than the ones provided by Fjords." The internal minister and strategist, Mernit, was quite shocked after hearing the current situation. However, considering his position, he calmed himself down and immediately asked, "What is the speed of their ships?" And what sort of news weapons did you face that you guys are horrified even when you possessed shots? The internal minister had a red beard and looked like a refined man as he calmly sat on his chair and heard the captain. The captain nodded and spoke, I am sure their ships are twice as fast as compared to fjords. As for their weapons, they had double the range as compared to shots. And they were 10 times more destructive than shots. However, the most surprising thing was their naval unit of seahorses unit. And for some reason they already knew the existence of our shots as they weren't shocked when they first encountered it. No, it was more like they were already prepared to face our weapons. Mernat tried to confirm and asked calmly, what? Twice as fast? Are you sure? Mernat meanwhile thought, I don't think anyone on our side would betray us so easily. Meanwhile, Tornwall and other dwarves don't even know the existence of shots. I need to investigate about this. The captain nodded affirmatively and spoke with determination, yes, I am pretty much sure. I can bet my life on it. Watching the soldier and his determination, Mernat nodded and slowly murmured, it seems all of our plans have failed. We need to change our plans. Maybe an alliance would be better to invade Elias. He sighed and thought, whom am I fooling? Since they have such weapons, why would they need our help? It seems, for the first time in centuries we would need to ally with Elias, since this sheep called Sky Kingdom is more of a wolf, or they would be an existential threat to us. We first need to observe them before making any hostile moves. I better get moving fast. Mernat signaled the soldier and spoke, okay, if you have any other important information, relay it to my assistant. I will be going to meet the king and other ministers immediately. You can go to your quarters and rest now. You guys did well in returning back with this valuable info. The captain nodded as he saluted and left his office. Yes, my lord. Mernat took out a memo and started planning his further line of action. I need to contact Annan first. Yes, I should let him know of the situation first. He can start negotiating with them for the release of our soldiers immediately. If this situation remains under the curtain, it would be for best. If not, it can be blamed to miscommunication on our part. Next would be to contact that foreign minister Philip and Wine King to smoothen our relations. Mernat sighed and thought, if we had just delayed this operation by 2 days, then this wouldn't have occurred in the first place. I hope our trade deal for elemental ores and mana-restoring pills doesn't get stuck because of this misadventure. Calling his assistant and after giving out orders, Mernat left immediately to meet the concerned persons and ministers to diffuse the tension at naval borders. The same was the situation at Elias, where Plato had a grave face, goddammit, and he had to get caught. His Majesty, Lionheart won't be pleased if he hears this news. He slowly read a document that described the strategically important parts. It seems they had hidden a lot of things. Those water horses seem quite a good addition to increase the battle prowess. So, they also have a secret spying tool that can be used to see at great distances? Now, this is new. No wonder they were always a step ahead whenever our armies attacked them. It seems this war still produced some results when it comes to King John's prowess. They have ships that are faster than the ones owned by fjords. How is this possible? Suddenly Plato remembered the letter of Luke, which spoke that if they had supported Count John, then he would have fully supported the kingdom. He gritted his teeth and crushed glass in his hand and angrily roared, so we fought this for nothing. He mocked himself and thought, we thought that Fjord would collaborate with dwarves and give them his prized ships and their blueprints. I wished we had supported Count John previously so that we could crush that duke's arrogance. Plato calmed himself down and thought of solutions. First, I need to do something about Endo. Luke is still there at Sky. I can ask him to look at the current situation over there. Suddenly a knock came to his room from his assistant, who came in and gave him a letter which was addressed from Luke. After looking at the letter, he thought, they have created mana-restoring pills? They have also created a cure for Black Death? Now, this is bad. One bad news after another. Whoa, they also have the long-lost longevity pills? From the looks of it, this was prepared by Lord John. It seems Luke is having a tough life. Maybe, we can use Baron Mendez's domain as a buffer to stop this war. As for the pawn, it can be blamed on Antonio. No, this is a big scandal since Baron is blaming Prince Hector. And since this is related to that count, I better be cautious before taking a position. As for the borders, they can be combated from other areas since it is now possible to expand in the wilds. He deeply thought as he looked at the effects of mana-restoring pills. The most important thing is the mana-restoring pills. How do we get it? Arg, I better convey a meeting of ministers to get a solution. I don't think King will be convinced just by the longevity pills.